Whilst many of us look back at Brexit as a fond memory of the past, for one particular region of the UK, it remains a very serious problem. The Northern Ireland Protocol has siphoned off part of the United Kingdom and surrendered it to the European Union. Our politicians continue to dither and squabble, as per usual, over retained EU laws. Sunak vowed to scrap them within 100 days of taking office, and that day is coming fast, but it seems that he has put that pledge on the back burner. In 2016, this country said goodbye to the European Union once and for all. And yet here we are in 2023, and it remains a problem that seems to never go away. Why would that be? Well, because it was the public who forced our leaders over the line in the greatest democratic exercise this country has ever seen. Our leaders never wanted this to happen, and it feels like they don't want it now. My next guest has said that the Prime Minister may know the price of things, but he has no grasp of their value. Former MEP Ben Habib joins me now. Ben, when is Brexit going to happen?
Well, that's a really good question. And as I was coming in here, a friend of mine texted me saying that, the mood on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram, but apparently the mood on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram, but the mood on Instagram is that Brexit's failed, it's going to be reversed soon. And I completely forgive anyone who thinks that Brexit has failed. Because if you look at the constitutional rigmarole we've been through over the last 7 years, and we still haven't got it done. But as you rightly said, Laurence, it's our governing class, our political class, that has refused steadfastly to get this very simple project over the line. All we had to do was genuinely leave the European Union. And again, as you said at the beginning of your intro to me, Northern Ireland has been left behind in the European Union. It's part of the EU customs union. It's part of the EU single market for goods. That means it's a rule taker. Laws are made for Northern Ireland in Brussels, foisted on it, and then those laws are adjudicated by a foreign court. What sort of country gives over part of its territory to a foreign power? And that's what we've done.
It seems like traitorousness to me, because this Conservative Party would not be in power if it weren't for the DUP.
No.
Properly. And so is it too hyperbolic to say that?
No, it's absolutely right. The DUP and Sir Geoffrey Donaldson in particular have been exemplary. They've had to fight for the existential threat that the protocol poses to the United Kingdom. No provincial politician should be forced into that corner. But, Laurence, I know you fight a lot of the culture wars, you fight for the reclamation of our language. The ultimate in political weakness is giving up part of the country without a single shot being fired. So when you fight for the reclamation of the English language, you're fighting for the union of the United Kingdom. You're fighting for British values. When you fight our cultural wars, you're fighting for British values. When you fight to protect the heritage of the United Kingdom, you're fighting for British values. When you fight to reclaim Churchill from those who would denigrate his historical significance, you're fighting for British values. And when I fight for the Northern Ireland Protocol, I am fighting for the United Kingdom. It's all part of the same fight. Our political leaders have turned their back on the United Kingdom. They've turned their back on the importance of an independent, sovereign UK, proud of its history, proud of its values, proud of its tradition, going forth as an independent country, making laws and policies for the benefit of British citizens. That's what they've turned their back on. Okay. So Sunak is a great accountant, great bean counter, but he does not value any of that. And we've got to fight for it. We've got to stand up to people like Sunak and reclaim, that's your word, reclaim the United Kingdom.
Who is Sunak, this unelected man? Anyway, right, I'm not allowed to cheer out loud, so I have to. I need to respond with the thing. Why have we stolen a bit of Ireland?
Why have we stolen a bit of Ireland?
Why don't we just give it back to
It was never theirs.
It was never theirs?
It was never theirs.
Okay.
Ireland was ours. All of Ireland was ours. And all of Ireland joined Great Britain to create the United Kingdom in 1800. And in 1922, part of Ireland was then ceded to the Republic. And the Republic has had its beady eyes on Northern Ireland ever since. And the EU, with its malignant intent towards Great Britain and the United Kingdom, thought, oh, well, that's a really good political battle to fight because we can then get a gaff. You know what a gaff is? You fish, don't you? A gaff is a really filthy instrument. You chuck it into the side of a big fish to try and control it and bring it on board. The Northern Ireland Protocol is a gaff into the flesh of the United Kingdom. That's what it is. It's to ensure that either the United Kingdom comes to heel and we, as the United Kingdom, start taking EU laws so that border down the Irish Sea becomes invisible, or we lose Northern Ireland.
And why is it so difficult? Why is it so hard to come to a deal with these people? You know, you go into... I've looked at the red lane, the green lane and all this stuff. You know,
it's all nonsense.
But you land in Heathrow Airport, you go through the red lane or the green lane. I always go through the green lane.
That's a different kind of red lane and green lane.
But do you know what I mean? It's not the world's most complicated thing.
No.
We're either on side and we're a union or we're not. I don't understand why all these years later it's still a problem.
But you know, you're absolutely right. It's very simple. All we need is a governing class, a political class, that has confidence in the United Kingdom and its ability to govern. And the border should go where a border already exists, which separates Northern Ireland from the Republic, separates two different currencies, separates two different corporation tax rates, separates two different sets of regulations. That border is recognised in the Good Friday Agreement. That's where the customs border should be. The trade across that border, by the way, is de minimis. It's less than 1% of the trade between the United Kingdom and the EU. It's a rounding error. And yet we have allowed the EU to weaponise that border issue against the United Kingdom.
But we live in a world of non-jobs, right? So, you know, non-trade, and we live in a world of non-power. So someone exerting this power over a region it seems to be ridiculous. But surely the British people want to be free of this. And we want to be able to exercise our passive rights rather than the active rights that are given to us by Europe. We want to find our own identity post-Brexit.
We do.
We're not able to do it.
We do. And that's why the Northern Ireland Protocol is actually not just an issue for Northern Ireland. It's an issue for the entire United Kingdom. We're being held down. That's why I describe it as a gaff in our flesh. They've wounded us deeply with this wretched instrument that they've driven into the flesh of the United Kingdom. And our political class needs to get a grip. It's actually...
Do they want to get a grip? Do they care at all?
Well, but this is where I come back to Rishi Sunak being a bean counter and understanding the price of everything and the value of nothing. What are we? What are we, Laurence? What do we stand for if we're not prepared to stand up for the rights of 1.8 million British citizens, part of the United Kingdom? You know, 40 years ago, we had the 40-year anniversary for the Falklands last year. 40 years ago, we mobilised our entire armed forces to protect 1,800 people, 10,000 sheep, 8,000 miles away. Now we've given up sovereign British territory, part of the United Kingdom, without a single shot being fired. It is the biggest collapse in political will of our lifetime. And it is the ultimate, if you like, in the battle that you and I have been fighting from different ends. You know, it's the ultimate in losing our language, the ultimate in losing our history, our traditions, our values, our laws, giving up part of our country without a single shot being fired.
Everything feels like surrender at the moment.
It is surrender.
Thank you so much, Ben Habib, for, sitting on the fence.